And welcome to the JoCo Community Radio. This is Beyond the Crown. My name is Ashlyn Cohen, and I'm going to be your host today. I am Miss Chisholm Trails teen. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Today I am joined by the wonderful Lauren Bond, Miss Dallas's teen. Stay tuned for after intermission, where we will be joined by Miss Delta Blues volunteer Lydia Fisher and her journey to Miss Tennessee's volunteer. For now, we're here with Lauren. Hello, Lauren.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm a little tired, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm good.
Me too. I've been working on essays all day. It's crazy.
Yes, I know the hassle.
Absolutely. So you are Miss Dallas teen, and you've held that title for a little while now. Can you tell me a little bit more about the day that you were crowned? I know for me, my crowning day was such a big deal, and I can still remember so many small details from that day. So can you tell me a little bit about the moment your name was called, how you felt, how that day all kind of rolled out, and just that whole experience of being crowned Miss Dallas teen?
Yeah, so I remember getting there pretty early in the morning, and we had rehearsals all day, and there were, the fitness routine videos and the walking patterns sent before, and so we just rehearsed those all day. And I remember getting ready for the actual competition, seeing my family come to support me, um, and that crowning moment. So the Miss Dallas teen title got crowned last, and so I was still on stage, and I was waiting, I was hoping my name would be called. And finally, they called my name to be Miss Dallas's teen, and I just was overwhelmed with so much excitement, and I was so grateful. And to see my parents and my friends even came to support me. So it's kind of a blur, if I'm being honest, because it happened so fast. But I love that day, and I still cherish every memory I've made with even the girls I competed with.
I know for me, and I don't know if you experienced this too, but for me, I just knew that something was different about the local that I went to when I got there. It was my third local. This is my first year competing, and it was my third local that I competed in. And I walked in that morning, and just something felt different. I don't know if that was just kind of myself, my mind playing a game on me, but I just felt like this is the one. I really just kind of got that feeling. Did you get that at all when you went to your first local, or were you just kind of there to be there?
I think I got that feeling after my interview. I was the last person to interview of the day, and I walked out of that interview feeling so proud of myself because I just had a really good time talking to the judges. Having a mutual conversation not only about my community service initiative, but things that I loved doing aside of being, you know, a future representation of the Miss Texas organization. And so I think I felt that feeling after my interview, but when I got there, I was definitely more relaxed, struggling to get my makeup on, struggling to do all the things I needed to do in time to be able to be ready for the competition. So.
I know. I feel the same way. My interview went really, really well. And so funny enough, me and Lauren have the same interview coach. And at my local competition, I called her after my interview. I think I was the third person to interview, and out of five, I believe. I don't remember exactly, but I remember I walked out and I called her, and I was like, "That interview went so good." And one of the judges started tearing up, I did my job. I was very, very proud of myself. And yeah, I completely think that the interview just changes everything and kind of sets the tone for the rest of the competition for
I
yourself.
agree. I think it's definitely one of my favorite parts. I know when I first got involved in this organization, oh gosh, the thought of an interview really freaked me out. And now it's probably one of my favorite parts. So.
Yeah, for sure. Me too. I'm the exact same way. So we recently had a spring showcase just about over a month ago now, which is crazy. And that's actually how we met in person for the first time.
Yeah.
So following spring showcase, can you talk a little bit about just how you're feeling leading up to Miss Texas Week and what you're doing to prepare for the big long week?
Yes, it is a very long week. I think Spring Showcase really put it into perspective for me of how many girls are competing this year. Last year was my first year competing in this amazing organization, and I'm so thankful that I can compete another year. But just getting to meet all the girls, making new friends, it was also surreal because I feel like once you're crowned, you have so long until spring meeting. And then once spring meeting hits, it's straight to Miss Texas. It's so little time you have. And so, yeah, it really put it in perspective the timeline that we have till we compete. And the girls I'm going to be competing with, the next batch of friends and bridesmaids I'm going to be able to make, I don't know. I think that's definitely what spring meeting was for me. And um, yeah, I'm really excited. I still haven't really gotten to know a lot of the girls because I think there's around 50, I believe 50 girls in
Yeah.
the teen division. So I definitely still have some more relationships to build when I get to Miss Texas.
I know. I like try to do at every appearance, whether that was like Avery Bishop's fashion show,
Yeah.
or like Love for Kids. I try to meet more title holders, but there's so many.
Yes.
It's hard. I mean, you honestly can't meet them all in one day. You have to kind of spread it out. But like every single title holder in the like that's competing for teen, I feel like we're all just like super close and we're all connected one way or another, and it's so much fun getting to meet so many people.
Yeah.
So, next question. Okay, so you competed last year, as you said. So,
Hmm.
after kind of like getting your feet wet or understanding what the week competing for Miss Texas teen is like, what are you most looking forward to this year, and what are you most nervous for compared to last year?
Well, that's a great question. I think I'm going to start with what I'm most nervous for. I Last year on stage question was probably one of the most nerve-wracking things I can recall. I had never really been in front of a stage or a large audience like that on stage and I've never had to answer a question
Mhm,
so bluntly with the thought of so many people's opinions clouding my mind. So
mhm,
that's something that I'm a little nervous for this year, but I've definitely prepared for after last year.
mhm,
And something I'm really excited for this year is that's tough. There's so many things I'm excited for. I would have to say interview. I know I just mentioned that earlier, but I love interviews so much. I love getting to share my story. I love talking to people. And so that's one of the most exciting things I am excited to experience. So,
mhm. Yeah, that sounds you kind of sounds like me too. I feel like we have a lot of the same views as what we're nervous for and what we're not nervous for and what we're excited about. I'm really excited about interview as well because I'm the same way. I love talking to people and I love interacting with people. And I think that it's so cool because in your interview you can lead how in whatever direction you want to. And you can talk
mhm.
about whatever you want to and say whatever you choose to. And that is your one time to do that in front of the judges. So I am looking forward to that. I love onstage question and during locals, that was actually my favorite thing to do because I love a good challenge. And every time that I did an onstage question, it was like they asked the question, and I think for a split second, what am I going to say? What am I going to say? And then
Mhm.
it's the idea just pops into my head, and it's just
Yeah,
the
it's like
best
right
feeling
away.
ever.
Yeah.
Like, it's so much fun and
I
just
had
the
just
thrill.
never experienced that before. So I think that's why I got so nervous. Like
Uh-huh.
I was
Yeah,
just so
sure.
like starstruck, like, oh, this is what it feels like. I don't know.
I feel the same way. So I actually volunteer for this organization called Peterson Symphony League, and we basically it's a group of high schoolers that volunteer for the Richardson Symphony Orchestra, and the Richardson Symphony Orchestra performs at the Eisman Center, and at one which is where the Miss Tex competition
Mhm, yeah.
is held for those of y'all listening at home. But so we there was a concert at one point and we had to attend and we got to like, greet people and it was super super fun and they had us all come up on stage and introduce ourselves and like hold the microphone and
Yeah.
talk and say our name and I at that point had not won my local title yet but I've kind of been going back to that moment and looking and you know looking around. Actually, I take it back. I don't think we said our names. I think they just called our names and we waved. But I could be wrong. But it was a while ago. But I just keep going back to that moment and thinking how many people were in front of me and knowing that I'm gonna have to sing in front of that many people. I'm gonna have to talk in front of that many people. I'm gonna dance in front of that many. It's a lot. So I keep thinking
Mhm.
about that. But that's one thing that I'm a little bit nervous about too.
Yeah.
So, well, normally when we have guests on, two questions that we just always ask them are what is your community service initiative, and then also what is your talent? Because I think that as title holders and as delegates for the state title, those are just two things that really make up yourself as a candidate. So, can you tell me what your talent is and what your CSI is?
Yes. So my community service initiative is called Different People Make a Difference. And I was inspired to create this platform because growing up I had scoliosis And so I looked really different than a lot of people in my life, especially as a competitive dancer. I even got ostracized by my teachers and my instructors. I remember trying out for the team that I ended up later being a part of, and I was told that I looked too different to even be considered for the part. And that really struck a nerve in me. And as scoliosis progressed, I ended up having surgery. So I now have 18 screws and 2 rods in my spine. But I also have a brother with autism, and he experienced a lot of the same feelings of ostracization and discrimination because of his difference. And so I advocate for people who are different and the difference that they can create in this world. So that's my CSI, and I love it so much. And my talent, I am a dancer. As I previously mentioned, I started at the age of 2, and I competed at a very large scale. I competed all over Texas. I went to New York for nationals with my company, and it was so much fun. But I had scoliosis, so that kind of made it difficult for me to participate in a lot of things. And then I ended up having surgery, and it was an 8-hour long procedure with a year estimated time recovery. And I was told that I would never even be able to dance again. And so that again struck a nerve in me, and I was determined to prove my doctors wrong. And so here I am today, dancing all over the place and spinning and doing all these flips. And it kind of just adds to my platform and what I'm passionate about for.
I love that, and I think it's so funny because both of our platforms are kind of motivated by health situations that we both had. So my social impact is called Making Music Through Hearts and Minds, and it's all about the benefits of music for emotional health. And I had always it's also about scholarships, but that's a whole different part of it. I kind of have two parts of my community service initiative, but the part as far as music for emotional health was motivated because, like you, I had a medical condition. It's a neurological muscular condition, and I was diagnosed with it in 7th grade. It all kind of just happened at once. Like I was fine one day, and then I felt a like weird pain in my hand, and a month later I couldn't walk. So it was like a very like dramatic part of my life, and something that was insanely difficult to go through. And I was bullied because of it, because I went to school on a walker after I came back from the hospital, and many people started rumors saying that like I was faking it and stuff. And that
I got that too, girl.
yeah, I know. It's so annoying because it's like one of the worst things you've ever gone through, and something that hurts so bad. Like the pain that I experienced is so severe, and just to know that people just said it was fake. I mean, that's just the worst feeling ever. And so what I found through all of that that made me feel better was by being involved in music. So I'd always been involved in music my whole life, but by playing my flute or singing or doing anything related to music, I felt better and I was happier, and it made me feel better. It made the pain not really go away, but it kind of just distracted me and made me feel a little bit better. And now, so I recently wrote a children's book about the benefits of emotional health, or of music for emotional health. And so I love that like both of our CSIs are both kind of coming from the same root of going through a medical difficulty, and kind of using our hard times as something to we turned it into something good and turned it into something better than just the pain or just the experience that we had.
Yes, I completely agree. And I level with you on the fact that it took me a really long time to be able to talk about my surgery and my experience going through what I went through, because it was so hard. And that's something that's not really talked a lot about when people face health issues. They talk about the outcome of the journey, but a lot of people subside from telling, the midst of the journey, the hard, the hills, the trenches, everything and all of it. And so that's something that took me definitely a really long time to be able to open up about. But now that I've affected so many people's lives. And not only that, but they've affected mine. And so, yeah, I think it's really cool how you've written a children's book and done all this. And so, and yeah, I really, really applaud you for that.
Yes, thank you so much. I honestly, we've had like a bunch of guests on here, but I don't think I've ever like related so much to another guest as far as community service initiative, like what we're nervous about. So That's super cool. So, okay, I have some other questions. I don't want to go too off topic. But so we talked about your social impact and your talent and how that kind of relates because of what you went through with your
Yeah.
scoliosis, but then you kind of overcame that and you were able to dance again. So how do you, this is sort of a difficult question, but how do you kind of transfer that feeling and those emotions into your dance? Because I know for
Yeah.
me, like, sometimes it's kind of hard because I'm a singer, that's my talent. It's hard to sort of bring emotion into singing, especially when you're worrying about like, all of the technique and all the things that you're doing. So how do you feel that you are able to like portray that and kind of combine the two together when you do your talent to show your story?
Yeah, so at a really young age, music had a large effect on me and my life. And the way I'm able to transfer my story and my feelings into my dancing is my connection with the audience. That's something that allows me to get lost in the moment, feel the music, and be able to share my story through my movement. And knowing that I went through something and that somebody else in the audience could be going through something or have as maybe just started going through something or has come out of something that has really affected their life. My goal when I go on that stage and I perform something dear to my heart is to connect with people in the audience, not only through my story, but knowing that they're probably going through something maybe similar, maybe something completely different, but just to be able to relate to them. So,
That's so wonderful. I love that so much.
thank you.
So your so we talked about, you know, how we both had our medical situations and you just talked about how you kind of connect through people with that in other circumstances. But specifically for when people go through things like we both went through, what would you say is your kind of biggest piece of advice that you like to give? I know for me, I like to tell people that are going through similar things that I've gone through that it takes time and that you have to
Mhm.
be patient and you need to, I think it's really important to find something that makes you feel better and to keep yourself motivated so you can eventually go back to the things that you love. So, what's something specifically kind of like that or whatever route you want to go down that you just find really important to tell people that are going through similar things that you went through?
That's a really good question. I think the first thing I tell somebody, I usually deal with people who are battling scoliosis, but I remember going into a school and presenting my program and talking about my difference, and this little girl came up to me afterwards and she said, I know what makes me different, and I have dyslexia. And then another girl came up and she was like, me too, and it was just so cool because my platform is all about differences, but in another way, our differences are what unite us because although we may be different, there's somebody else out there in the world that has the same difference as us. And so it brings us together in a unique way. And for me, dealing with scoliosis, um, I denied the fact that I was different after being bullied. And I think that's something that I struggled with. And so connecting with people who have the same difference as me, I didn't do. And that would have tremendously helped me in my recovery. And so my piece of advice to anybody, not only scoliosis warriors, is to connect with people. And I usually start off by saying, it's okay that you're different. It's okay that you're going through something because this world makes it seem like it's not okay, but it is. And I encourage them to get connected in a community that supports their difference because that's how they can make a difference.
I love that so much, and I love how sentimental yours was, and I love how when you're talking about that, how you could just tell that it was coming from your heart. And it was mine was more like a physical thing, and I love it was like more like I love that yours is that was so
Oh,
beautiful. I
thank
wish I
you.
could
Thank you
record
so much.
that.
I'm so passionate about what I do.
Uh-huh.
And just the little stories of the little people that you affect, I think, are probably one of the biggest things about being a title holder.
For sure. So, I'm sure as Miss Dallas had seen, you've done a lot of appearances. Can you tell me what your favorite appearance was, or maybe a specific story from an appearance you want to tell? Anything along that.
Oh gosh. Okay. This is really hard. I have been to a lot of appearances and it's hard to choose a favorite, but I remember in January, around Christmas time, I maybe a little bit before January, if I'm thinking right. I had gotten the opportunity to go into a hospice, which is an end of life care facility, and so this organization is revolved around making people feel comfortable while they pass on to a new life, and so I was able to come in and deliver flowers to two patients who are bedbound. And I remember one of them, her name was Betty, and I was told she had spent 30 minutes getting ready for me before I even walked in the room. She got her nails painted, she got her hair done, she even put makeup on just for 15 minutes of my time for me to be able to talk to her. And that was one of the most moving moments, I think, being involved in the Miss Texas organization as a whole, realizing the effect that us as title holders have in society and as people, and knowing that there's different audiences out there who are so excited to be able to meet us, whether it be, a child or a kindergarten class or even, somebody who's on their deathbed. It's just, I think it really put in perspective the amount of impact we have as title holders. So that was probably my favorite memory and appearance as Miss Dallas's team.
I love that so much. I just got goosebumps when you were
Oh
talking
no!
about that. No, they're good goosebumps.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, I love Betty. So yeah, it's one of my favorite stories, and just remembering her and everything that she did for me, realizing that she took 30 minutes out of her day to be able to see me for only 15. And it still gets me every time I think about it.
Mhm. I know, and I get the same way when I go to school appearances and I do my program for schools. And I'm sure you experience this too, but when you walk in the room, I don't think I've ever gone to a class where they don't ask me if I'm a princess.
I either get that or is it your birthday?
Yes, yes. And so my program is like more geared to younger audiences because it revolves around my children's book, which is a picture book. And I know for me that whenever I see a young girl that just has her jaw dropped while I'm talking or explaining stuff, that really is something that kind of like brings me just so much joy. So for me, I started competing after Chandler Foreman came to my school, and I just remember being so
Oh, wow.
inspired by her. So knowing that maybe someone else that's one of the children that's in the room on my presentation is going to be inspired. Maybe they're going to be a local title holder. Maybe they're going to be
Yeah.
in Texas one day. I don't know, but that's just so cool. And so I think that we both kind of relate to that, and just the way that it's so as a title holder, it's so warming to know that people really support us and are going to take time out of their day and be inspired. And that's
Yeah.
just one of my favorite things, is knowing that I'm inspiring people and that people are impacted by my appearance. So I definitely relate to you on that. So we have a little bit of time left. So kind of going back to what I was just saying, inspiring younger girls to compete or be involved. There's a lot of younger girls that will, watch us when us Johnson County title holders organization title holders will go into Johnson County, and the young girls see us and they are just astonished. So, to any of them watching, what do you want to tell them about just how to inspire them, or something that you want to tell them about competing or becoming involved?
Excuse me. I think to anybody who's watching who is wanting to compete or being introduced into any organization, I think it's really important to be passionate about the cause that you're advocating for. That was something that I struggled with joining the Miss Texas organization. And my first idea was to form a platform just around scoliosis. And I found a bigger cause that I was insanely passionate about, which is advocating for people's differences and the difference they make in the world. And so my advice is just find something that you're passionate about, because you know you're going to work hard and be determined to make a difference in the world due to that topic or whatever it may be.
I love that. And so we only have about like 30 seconds left. Really quickly, can you tell me your biggest piece of advice for all of the new local title holders coming in to compete this year?
Have fun. That is something that I got told a lot as a first year, but seriously, just live in the moment, having fun, making friends. That's like the biggest thing that you should take away from Miss Texas. And that's what I did. So, yeah.
That's what I'm most looking forward to as well. Thank you so much, Lauren, for joining us today. It was so wonderful to have you and talk to you. I can't wait to get to talk to you more during this Texas week. But thank you so much for your time, and we'll be back shortly with Lydia Fisher, Miss Delta Blues volunteer.
Thank you.
you ever met a single person in your life that enjoys paying taxes? No, no one does. If you can't sleep at night because you have a huge problem with the IRS, I've got some free advice for you. This service is strictly limited to individuals that owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes. And if you qualify, we can guarantee that you won't be writing a big fat check to the IRS, or our services cost you nothing. The first 100 people that call today will get a free tax consultation worth $500. Stop worrying about your IRS problem. We can help you, we promise. Call the tax doctor right now. I mean right now, to learn more.
800-240-4587. 800-240-4587. 800-240-4587. That's 800-240-4587.
Out-of-date carpet giving you the blues? Tired of your old dingy and broken tile? Let my friends at the Floor Store in Cleburne, Texas give your home the makeover it deserves. This is Old Taco Joe coming to you for the Floor Store. Whether it's carpet, tile, wood flooring, or real wood laminate, the Floor Store can cover all of your flooring needs. Located at 405 West Henderson Street in Cleburne, Texas, owner Brent Harris can help. Shower tile, tub surrounds, even backsplashes. Give them a call today at 817-641-9444. The Floor Store, they got you covered. Out-of-date carpet giving you the blues? Tired of your old dingy and broken tile? Let my friends at the Floor Store in Cleburne, Texas give your home the makeover it deserves. This is Old Taco Joe coming to you for the Floor Store. Whether it's carpet, tile, wood flooring, or real wood laminate, the Floor Store can cover all of your flooring needs. Located at 405 West Henderson Street in Cleburne, Texas, owner Brent Harris can help. Shower tile, tub surrounds, even backsplashes. Give them a call today at 817-641-9444. The Floor Store, they got you covered.
You're listening to JoCo Community Radio.
It's a girl thing. Try to understand. It's not a me thing. No different than my friends. I get what I want, and I want it back. And it's a girl thing. Ooh, it's a girl thing.
Hello, hello. My name is Ashlyn Cohen. I am Miss Chisholm Trails teen, and welcome back to JoCo Community Radio. This is Beyond the Crown, and I'm going to be your host today. Today, I am joined with the wonderful Lydia Fisher, Miss Delta Blues volunteer. So Lydia is going to be competing for the title of Miss Tennessee's volunteer just next month. So we're just going to talk to her a little bit today about that journey and what she's doing right now. So for context, Lydia and I actually met at a retreat in North Carolina about 2 months ago now. So we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. So hello, Lydia. How are you? Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. We can't hear you. Or I can't hear you. Oh no. Let's see. I think that if you can just go to go to your settings and check your microphone settings.
Hey Lydia, this is Tiffany with JoCo Community Radio. Hey Ashlyn, you are doing an amazing job tonight. Lydia, thanks for joining us. But if you'll go into the Restream settings on your camera and choose the drop down for audio and tell it to choose the microphone you're using that you need to use, and then we should be able to hear you. Do you see you see the little settings wheel? It looks like a little tool. Okay, click on that and then hit the audio settings drop down. And then choose your microphone. Okay. Ashlyn, while we're waiting for Lydia to figure that out, can you tell us about what your greatest challenge that you were worried about when you first ran?
So the greatest challenge that I was worried about when I began competing was probably I had a very low amount of confidence in myself, and I've really found that that's grown as I've continued to compete, and as I have continued to compete, and when I won my local title is gain a lot of self-confidence that I think is so important for young girls to have and for young girls to be able to experience. I think that's something that I'm really trying to promote as a local title holder is being confident in yourself. And that was something that I really struggled with at the beginning. I was really worried about, not looking as pretty as other girls that were competing or not being able to talk as clearly as other girls. And I struggled a lot with that. But now having my local title and getting to talk to various different audiences has really, really helped me just gain my overall self-confidence. And it's really turned me into a better person for sure. Are our microphones? Oh, okay. I don't think we still can't hear you, Lydia.
Lydia, give us a hi and see if it fixed you. Okay, Ashlyn, your director, Diana Roberts, is going to join you for just a minute while I try and help Lydia.
Okay, sounds
Lydia,
great.
there's a private chat box. Can you see it? You'll see a little icon. It looks like messaging. Yeah. You got it? Okay, call me so I can help you. My phone number's in there. All right.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So we're just going
to... All right, your director, Diana Roberts, is going to join you.
Okay.
And Ashlyn, if you'll text Lydia my cell phone number.
Yes.
Okay, so that way, because I'm not sure she's seeing the chat unless she finally read my message.
Okay, I'm texting her your information right now.
Okay, awesome. Diana? Diana, I see that you're on. Well, Diana's there, but she apparently is having challenges too, Ashlyn. Okay, so tell me while we're waiting for some assistance here, okay? What are you looking forward to most of all about Miss Texas?
So Miss Texas week is coming around very quickly. Since, like Lauren said before in our mission, since Spring Showcase, time has been flying by and it's all becoming so real all of a sudden. I am really looking forward to just the competition part. Kind of like Lauren said, I'm also really looking forward to private interview. I've been working really hard on my private interview skills, and so I'm really looking forward to being able to showcase that. I've also been working pretty hard at my talent as well. My talent is a operatic vocal with a additional flute part, and so I'm really excited to get to share that with the many people that are going to be in the audience at the Eisman Center in Richardson. So I'm actually from North Dallas, but I live literally seconds away from the Richardson border. And so I go to school in Richardson. And so it's really, really nice and convenient to be able to be so close. Though I do still have to stay at the hotel, I'm really looking forward to just kind of being in my hometown, being able to stay in the area and just experience the whole entire experience that the Miss Texas competition brings. I am really excited to be able to represent the Chisholm Trail area and just the Johnson County area as well. I've been working really hard to make as many appearances as I possibly can and do the most work that I can as far as volunteering goes in my community as well as the Johnson County community. So if anyone is listening in and is interested in having a title holder at any event, please contact us. All four of us are always looking for events to attend, and I'm really passionate about making appearances and volunteering. So if anyone has any questions about that or is interested in having a title holder, please let us know because we are always willing to come to different types of events. But as far as Miss Texas Week goes, I'm just really looking forward to just getting to represent the area, getting to have fun, meeting people. I think there's just a gazillion different components that go into competing and all of the different things and opportunities that you get from competing. So I'm just really looking forward to the week to see how it plays out and all of the wonderful things that are going to hopefully happen. And I'm honestly so excited to see who is going to be crowned Miss Texas's Team 2024. 23. Because I mean, it's just such a cool sisterhood, and every year it's just so exciting to see who is going to come home with the title and get to represent the wonderful state of Texas.
Fantastic. Do you have a favorite? Okay, this might put you on the spot a little bit.
Okay.
But do you have a favorite Miss Texas from the past?
Okay, there's about a gazillion, and I honestly can't. It's so hard to choose just one. I would definitely have to say that Caroline Carruthers, she was Miss Texas, I want to say 2016. That could be wrong though, so don't quote me on that. But she was a competitive baton twirler, and she actually hosts a baton twirling competition. And so I get to go. I went last year and I attended that contest. And I'm also a competitive baton twirler, so I've just really kind of been inspired by her. She was the former University of Texas feature twirler, and for a very long time that was my dream, to be the feature twirler at the University of Texas. So when Caroline started the future Longhorn Twirler event, I got to go and attend that and perform at a UT basketball game. And I've just always been so inspired by her and looked up to her so much. Another Miss Texas is honestly our current Miss Texas, Avery Bishop, because I love how she is so realistic and so passionate about everything that she does. And so Avery will post a lot of videos on Instagram and on hi Lydia.
Me now?
Yes, I can!
Yay! Well, now we got these headphones, so we're just rolling with it.
Yay! Okay, so I was just talking about some former Miss Texas and stuff. I'm so glad that we got that worked out. I was so worried that it wasn't going to work out. So we only have about 16 minutes. Oh,
that's okay. Well, there we go.
Yes, better than no time at all. So as I was saying, we met at the Finish Retreat in North Carolina.
Yes.
So can you tell me, following that retreat, how you are preparing for your state competition, as well as kind of taking what you learned at that retreat into your preparation for interview and just all other areas of competition at your state pageant?
Well, what I love about my organization that I'm competing in, Miss Volunteer America, is that it allows us as competitors to be able to focus on everything equally. But this time around, I really wanted to focus very hard. I just had to put this down in a second. I wanted to work really hard when it came to interview, which is why I was so blessed to have a connection in Lori and have that weekend to be able to get away and relax and reflect on why I am competing for this great title. And that's to show who Lydia is, and who Lydia is. When I go into that interview, I want it to be the truest, most authentic self. And that was my main takeaway. I think you remember we got those little Talk Like TED books, because Lori very much specified how it's important for us to be able to hold people's attention for however long your interview is going to be. For us, it's about 8.5 minutes with a 90-second closer, and to be able to convince them to follow our journey to the crown. So that has been my main focus, on being the most authentic Lydia I can be when I go to that interview. And then I'm lucky to have opportunities like you've presented me to come on your show. So thank you again for having me.
Of course. I really think that appearances and these types of opportunities are just some of the best parts about being a local title holder. And so for me, I mean, and I was just saying this while we're having the technical difficulties, any appearance that I can make is such a wonderful opportunity, because at every appearance you meet someone new, you learn about something new, you experience something, you have an effect on people. I think that's something that's not really talked about too much, is that girls that are title holders, we have effects on people, and I hope that they're all positive effects. But for me, I know that sometimes people do not exactly trying to think how to word this. They don't exactly support pageants or scholarship competitions, and they have a very negative feeling towards it. But what I really like to push when I meet people is that this is not just a beauty pageant. This is a pageant or a scholarship competition based off of inner beauty. It's based off of academics, education, speaking, talent, and it's really just about the candidate herself and not just how pretty she looks or anything like that. And so that's what I really try to push. And I mean, honestly, that happens to me frequently is I get to explain that to people and I get to change someone's perspective on competitions and scholarship competitions and pageants. And by just changing one perspective, I think that it has a really amazing impact on just one person that maybe that one person will be involved in the organization or will come and watch a competition. And that's just what I love doing is being able to change people's perspectives and explain why I'm in the organization that I'm in and why I do what I do.
That is very true because, they see this beautiful, glamorous, one Miss Tennessee in the past put it blankly. They see this mystical creature, Grace Burgess, Miss Tennessee 2017, I believe. She just said that's what the children's having chances to go into schools and have contact with. They see this beautiful princess, but I don't want that to be my main prerogative. I don't want them to see me as that because I know I'm not perfect myself. And my personal platform is related to learning disabilities and special needs issues. My background in that is that I was born with a learning disability myself, which comprises of ADHD and an auditory processing disorder. And you'd think that with an auditory processing disorder, which I would describe as dyslexia for the speech, where sometimes when you're saying something to me, it may not resonate or uh, come across a certain way to me. But because of me being able to push myself into situations, say, like coming on this radio show where I'm able to handle these high stress situations, I know there's nothing I can't handle, and I can take those skills that I've learned into my professional career.
That is so wonderful, and I love how you just kind of mentioned your professional career. So what are you hoping with the education that you've received and all the things that you're doing right now? What do you want what is your professional career / what do you plan for that to be?
Well, I would plan on having a career with with the opportunities that are bestowed upon me throughout my year as Miss Delta Blues volunteer and then potentially as the next Miss Tennessee volunteer. My plan would be to hopefully move to Nashville and use the doors that have been open to me during my year to potentially pursue a musical career, because that is something that got me through. It was the music and the arts that got me through my learning disability and how I was able to cope with it, because I didn't feel myself to be the most academically advanced individual, and that's okay. Sometimes not everybody's things are test taking or school or anything like that. It's the arts or sports, anything like that that makes you feel special, that I can do to help make people feel they have a purpose. And for me, my purpose is singing and being able to make those connections with people through the arts.
I love that so much, and I love that you mentioned that you talked about how the arts helped you get through your difficult times. That's actually my social impact. I don't know if you knew that.
I know we had that in common.
Yes. So I kind of went through something similar. I just talked about this before intermission, but I had a health situation, and what got me through that and things that were coming along with that was music, and that was singing, playing my flute, playing piano, and that's why my social impact is making music through hearts and minds, which provides scholarships for middle school students who want to be involved in band, choir, orchestra, but also educating a younger audience about the benefits of music for emotional health for when you face adversity. And so I love that you just talked about how you can relate to that and how you experience that at a young age. And that's really just what I'm trying to get across is when people like you can tell your story, that's can just encourage so many more children to want to become involved in music and use music as a tool to overcome obstacles. So I absolutely love that. So my next question is, in the Miss America organization, which speaking of which I'll just kind of go back. I honestly think it's so wonderful that we're both from different organizations, because I think that competing in scholarship competitions is all one giant sisterhood. I don't believe that it's limited to just one organization. I think that we're all very similar in different ways, and we're all we're all unique, and we're all, I mean, every single girl that competes in one of these competitions, it's all just a giant sisterhood, and that's what's so important. And so to have a different organization to showcase on here, that you don't have to be from the same organization to be friends or to talk about things. I mean, it's so important that we can have diversity on the show and be able to really express that this is supposed to, it's beyond the crown, it's about a gazillion different related topics as far as these competitions go. So I really am just so thankful that you were able to come on. We were able to really showcase that today. But so in the Miss America organization, we have the fitness section of competition. And I know that y'all have the swimsuit portion as well. But I know that when we were in North Carolina, you were very adamant on exercising, which is so, so amazing. I remember like when we got there, you were like on the
I was
treadmill.
on the treadmill.
I remember like we walked in, Lori, our interview coach, picked us up from the airport, and we walked in, and you were like, yeah, like just cut off the run. And I was like, when I'm on vacation, I wouldn't exercise, but good for you.
Discipline.
I know, but and so I always see that you're posting on Instagram how you are taking care of your fitness and your personal health. So how would you tell people to keep themselves motivated, whether they are a title holder preparing for their competition, for their fitness portion of competition, or if they're preparing for just being fit in general, regardless if they're competing or not? How would you tell someone to stay motivated and to stay active?
That, I'm so glad you asked about that, because I have kept my focus on not just my fitness being in its peak the moment I step on stage in a swimsuit and in those high heels, just in front of thousands of people, having the confidence to do that. I focus on my fitness journey being able to show what my body can do, not how it's going to look. Another thing I do outside of pageantry I've gotten into recently is running 5Ks, which potentially I want to work up to one day, running a 10K and then a half marathon, but who knows? Memphis, where I'm from, is the hometown of St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, and every December they have their 5K, 10K, half marathon, and marathon races. So who knows? That'll be my next fitness goal I'll work towards, running that full marathon and doing the best that I possibly can. And then to go off of that, my fitness journey, besides what it currently is, it all started about 5 years ago when I graduated from high school. As you know, I was somebody who was born with a learning disability and auditory processing disorder, and I was prescribed medication to help me concentrate in school, as so many people have done. It's a completely normal thing to do. But one day when I graduated high school, after that happened, I just realized, do I want to be on this prescriptions that doesn't make me feel like I'm being the true Lydia every day? I just threw my prescriptions away, did my own research on what I can do to help myself do better in college and concentrate, make good grades, all of that. I looked into fitness and wellness, and there's actually research out there that changing up your diet into a healthy, real, sustainable relationship, it changes people's brain functions, it changes people's just everything about them. And that was what it had an effect on me. And I was so lucky to have my parents support that, my psychiatrist and doctors support that, because that was a big step in the right direction to where I am now. I am somebody who's graduated with a 3.95 GPA from my university. I have not touched a single medication ever since then. And while everybody's journey with a learning disability may be different, I hope to use my story as a way to inspire others to make their own decisions when it comes to their health.
That's so wonderful. And I actually just recently started on this new fitness and nutrition plan to improve my overall fitness and nutrition health. And I think it's really important. I literally started this 2 days ago, but I've already realized that being consistent is very, very important. And honestly, yesterday, I was really upset because my family got pizza for dinner, and I can't eat pizza, right? I mean, not supposed to eat pizza right now. And they had the pizza, and it smelled so good. Like, let me tell you, I was just smelling it. It smelled so good, and it's my favorite type of pizza too. But I had to eat my healthier meal to better myself. And even though I know it's okay to, like, of course, eat things here and there, I wanted to make sure that I was staying on track and not, going off of the plan super, immediate or anything. And honestly, I woke up this morning and I just felt good. I was like, I didn't give in. I didn't let myself eat the pizza. I like I stayed on track and ate what I was supposed to. I still went and worked out, and I like went on my workout this morning and have another one here in an hour or so. So I think it's really important to stay consistent. And I just love how you talked about how that really just not just helps for, a certain appearance or how you want to look on stage, but it helps for just your overall health. And I think that's so important to recognize and for people to understand.
Right. When I think of women and health and fitness, especially when it comes to pageants, you got to remember one of our on-screen Wonder Women, Gal Gadot, was a former Miss Israel, and she was preparing for her film with fitness and wellness and just being so concentrated. And when I think of an image I want to bestow, it's Wonder Woman, just strong, feminine, and just a great role model for women. That's what I remember when it comes to my fitness and wellness journey.
I love that. That is so wonderful. So we only have about 2.5 minutes left, so we're running low on time. But I just wanted to ask you, what are you most looking forward to for your Zen competition, and what are you really just hoping that you're going to get out of this experience, other than, of course, winning the title?
Winning the title would be very nice, but what I am looking most forward to is performing my talent on the Carl Perkins Civic Center stage. And when I was in that theater one time, there's just so much history, and the weight and traditions of this organization just felt so strong that I just can't wait to be able to perform my talent for the world, because we are streaming on E+ TV6 for our audience who wants to stream in and watch July 26th to the 29th. If you'd love to see my journey to the Miss Tennessee crown, be sure to follow along. But what I want to get out of this journey is to know that I just left it all out there, that I did it for the little girl who is 8 years old, me, who was glued to her TV, watching pageants, just dreaming one day she could do that, but at the same time just had that negative self-doubt that she couldn't do it because of her learning disability. But now, because of the journey and the prep and the skills that I have learned through pageantry, I know that there's no stopping me. So that's just all I would say. Don't take any stone unturned.
I love that. So we only have about 50 seconds left. So really quickly, what is your biggest piece of advice that you would like to give to someone who is going to compete in any organization or is thinking about competing? What would you want to tell them?
Just find the organization that fits you best. For me, Miss Tennessee Volunteer just fits me the best because it showcases my talent. It allows me to showcase my fitness. And then I have grown to love the interview phase of competition, as you can see. So just don't be afraid to try something new is all I would say. And you'll never regret or feel you did ever go wrong. So that's all I would have to say. Just go for it.
Thank you so much, Lydia, for joining us today. It was so wonderful having you. Thank you so much for being here and taking time out of your day, and we wish you the best of luck as you compete for Miss Tennessee Volunteer.
Thank you. So good to see you.
Good to see you too.
From Burleson to Venus and Grandview to Godley, this is the voice of Johnson County, JoCo Community Radio.
Why have thousands of aspiring authors teamed up with Christian Faith Publishing to publish their book? Because Christian Faith Publishing is an author-friendly publisher who understands that your labor is more than just a book. We provide authors freedom and flexibility throughout the publishing process, professional book editing,